This is Dr. Vaishali, and I'm reading from the book Substance of Homeopathy, book written by Dr. Rajan Sankaran, proving of the same rag in different continent. The second lot of proving is of the same raga in three different continents, producing the same feeling. Proving of music at Madras, South India, rag was Dir Sankar Barnum. Prover RH in 93 narrated the symptoms like daughter taking her first step, my mother sitting beside me in very early childhood, putting the children to bed, watching the waves on the beach at sunset, walking with the husband in Lakshadweep, son crawling for the first time, and understanding my husband's pain at his film being rejected at the national award through he never voiced it, sharing my daughter's hurt and trauma when teased by other students, cycling along the beach as a teenager in the Bombay, just being with my husband, not talking anything or nothing, but just being with him, just in silence of being my mother, the excitement of the summer holiday at grandmother's house with lot of cousins, the children's birthday party, especially on the beach, and lot of tears. Proving a brewer NK had a feeling well in the three stage. The upper part of the chest felt as if it was filled with something and suppressed my breathing. Then the filled up feeling went up to the head and electric like thrill flowed downward and downward extremely with extremity. I am cutting I am cutting a baby in my hand, swaying my body here and there, and I was enjoying the same. A merryful, joyous floating in the air just above the floor, traveling smoothly as angels do. A stage 3 in grand curtain behind, and musician playing, and I am enjoying it alone. Very happy. Next prover is Mrs. U. Very shooting very soothing, felt as though I am in a temple singing the praise of God. Strangely, I felt I was in a marriage hall. There was also a feeling that I was gently swinging on the julas, and one more feeling which was contrast. It was jarring initially, but later it involved feeling of sadness of losing someone close, and later as though a mother was singing lullaby matlab lori to her child and to a baby. Next prover was PVV, have a feeling of being consoled, and another poor NM, very pleasant feeling floating in the air, forgot everything and fully involved in the music. Next brewer, MS, feeling of completely relaxation from my head to the toe. At time I feel like crying also. It is very melodious and soothing also. It made me sleep also. Mr. DA had a feeling of love and affection to God. Then Mr. RKI, desire to help, sensation of floating. Next prover KSJ had a feeling of early childhood playing happily with my brother and cousin in grandmother's home, and first in my parental grandmother's house and then in my maternal grandfather's house, feeling as if on the happy occasion like a marriage when lots of people come together and meet and make a get together. And next prover was SL. It narrated symptom like it evoked sadness, nostalgia, a sort of homesickness feeling. Next prover is SK, and he narrated like makes me think of somebody who what who lost something very valuable, and bereavement has occurred for which the music has produced beautiful consolation. Means ultimately feeling of consolation. Mr. MRJ, no knowledge of raga, no specific reaction, but I like this music and its melodious, this type of melodious raga. It gives me state of mood that I should help those who are suffering and show our sympathy to affected person. And now the same ragas proving of music at London, Raga Dhir Sankar Bharnam, where the prover's name was Mrs. Diaz. Show myself as a child in the backyard in the grass, swinging among the leaves. A tractor was working in the garden. I see the flower, including bulb from which it grows. See the inside of the automobile. See a cart on a wooden dirt road. It feels peaceful, playful, and happy in the country sort of way. Miss B, feeling of being lost, alone, loneliness, and cut off from loved one, grief in futile death of loved one, and forsaken feeling of identity with nature and natural world, but separation from the people. At first unable to express and realize. Towards the end, sobbing grief and meaninglessness of life. Next proverb was Mr. CJ from London. I feel I was separated from the someone I love very much, waiting for him to return, preparing for the two of us meeting again. I feel alone, but then I feel that we are so strongly connected that the little time we are apart, it doesn't really matter. It start feeling joyful and happy. I feel hope. Something beautiful is waiting for me, even if the present seems like an endless waiting. I feel as if I am at home, waiting to get out, and waiting for the spring, the light, and the love to flower. Next proverb was Mr. DL, and he narrated like I was transported to Indian street, feeling a little crowded and harassed, but captivated by the beauty of the intense mixture of the color, order, sound, and the image, the beauty of brilliant garland and adoring people or Shiva or Ganesha, and transported to the music room of my host in Delhi as I sat transfixed during his music lesson and moved by the subtle texture of the raga. I experienced the richness and ancientness that the sound contained, joyful feeling almost in the rupture with the splendid richness of the sound. For this analysis was subtle texture, means shows the softness of gentleness. The moment we say soft and gentle, the situation which come to mind is the mother's care for the child. The pulsatilla feeling is that of the wind flower, which must bend to every gust of wind to survive and transpose into the human situation. It is a feeling that I will survive if I am soft and gentle and not hard and rigid. Even the body will express the same feeling. For example, the pain and the ache will be wandering and shifting and never be rigid and fixed like a which is present in Cilicia. Therefore, pulsatilla and Cilicia are opposite to each other in the expression. Although the internal feeling is yielding, pulsatilla grow on sandy soil and is often indicated as an acute of Cilicia. That is how mental image is formed by the application of the characteristic of the type of struggle and visualization in that particular situation. Each situation needs a specific type of struggle. The pulsatilla type of struggle is soft and gentle, a situation that needs a soft and gentle approach. When you are alone, helpless, and still not gentle, a situation that needs a soft, gentle approach. When you are alone, helpless, and still not fully mature, not able to take care of yourself, you cannot be too firm about things. Then you have to use the soft and gentle way. This feeling is most common at puberty in the teenager girls who weeps easily and feel alone. The problem is not so threatening. The music proving teach us that the situational materia medica and the mental pictures we get out of remedies are nothing but the application of the music or basic idea which is common to mind and the body and can be corrected or correlated to the original source, the substance from which the remedy is prepared. Next mover was Mr. LC. He narrated like sad, longing feeling, like homesickness, no personal thought, but picture of a young girl having to say goodbye to her family and village. It was inevitable that she had to leave, but I didn't get the sense that it was by choice. Then I saw her in a shot of turret like room, plain wall and narrow window, and she was looking across the countryside, and not barren but not green and wooded. It was not green and wooded. It was not barren, but it's a green and wooded area. Yearning for her earlier life and remembering people and places. Underneath, I did not get a strong sense that she is desperately unhappy. I felt that if she could go home to visit regularly, she would be okay, but she was not allowed to do such things. Next prover was J.W., where he narrated sadness, melancholy, painful, aching, an image of an old man ploughing his field with an oxen and contemplating his life, lost youth, and a sense of reminiscence and tiredness, not a loss of love, not a pain heartache, but more aching looking back over his life and his yearning, and a sense of missing out things. His yearning for what he has not, rather the awful and sad things which may have happened. A sad poor man's life, a life of struggle and the hardship of working for a long time for every little things, the pain of living only to survive rather than blossom and flourish. Next proverb was RM. He narrated like gradually the body was losing its weight, and feeling of gentle floating in the great peace took place, and there was a numbness and tinkling in the vortex, as if though the spot everywhere or everything was elevated, as if through this spot everything was elevated, and there was a feeling of very fine purified atmosphere, as if far away from the material world, being in the higher sphere. Next proverb was proverb TC. Refractive longing situation of standing alone on a bridge overlooking a city. The busy bustle of the world goes on around, but I am standing alone, sad, starting into deep water, and I feel moved by the beauty of life, but heart is very heavy. Next proverb was Mr. R.I. struggling against the oppression, grief, and interplay between own natural optimism and cheerfulness on outside, and struggling against the hardship and the particular the grief of someone dying, perhaps, and the feeling of loneliness, remembering the cheerful, happy time with this person, and mingle with the sadness that they are not longer alive. Next proverb was sadness, fearful, the feeling of being alone and searching for something. I don't find it, as if wandering through the desert, hungry for water. My feeling comes several times that was what the searching for is almost rich, and when I reach for it, it fade away as illusory and imaginary. The next proverb was from solitude by river, contemplative feelings and striving for reaching for something in the steady way, not a struggle, along with my thoughts, sad feeling but in a gentle way, not violent grief, for example. And next proverb, AD, difficult concentration followed by the restlessness, initially a sense of homesickness for a short time. Next proverb was empty, patient proverb was named empty. Felt I was on the river of the life, and that music was the sound of stones and rocks, and as the river turned around, and I felt the source on things, and then I changed and river become the sea, and suddenly with the waves we were boating upon the flat sandy beach where I had holiday as child with my parents, and I recall my favorite photo of my mother who is dead now. I have lost that photo also. I realized that I couldn't grieve enough when she died. I had lost this feeling, and I didn't feel enough, and despair with myself for not having this feeling. Next proverb was EI, and he said, Positive, hopeful mourning for someone who has gone away or died. Soothing sort of sadness, sadness. Broken love affair and missing someone, but in a positive way. No despair, no anger or the blame. Next prover was JT. Nostalgia, deep and chronic grief, love lost long ago for lover, husband, child, deep remorse, inconsolable, grieving with a weeping, wailing, and constantly relating over and over again, and unresolved grief with no peace, feeling of loss, separation from source or from the loved one, separation from the inner light and love, desire, death, to be with loved one, 4 seconds left on his this earth, and what have I done to deserve this sadness, this deep grief, why I have been so left, and desire to tell the tale of her own story, want to tell the story of herself, and to reminisce and relieve grief, to weep and to be consoled, yet is inconsolable. Now, same raga music proving at California, raga was Dir Shankar Bharnam, where the provers say at the beginning, the music sound mournful. The picture in my mind was of a person sitting alone on the cliff overlooking the ocean. As the music went on, I began to feel an odd physical sensation which started on the surface of my chest over the sternum. It was a feeling of warmth and pressure that gradually moved up across the front of my throat and then up around my jaw and chin. It moved slowly. It was very painful, but it did not feel pleasure either. I can still feel it is a bit around my chin as I continue to listen. My body relaxed and my limbs began to feel quite heavy. There was a busy part of the music towards the end where I got a picture of cloud of mosquitoes and dragonfly buzzing around. I play violin and I have made a lot of sounds when my violin, but with my violin, but some of the sounds this violinist pingu made piqued my curiosity as to what he did exactly to produce the sound. Next prover was 39-year-old MC. He said, beseeching, crying, whining of mother about to give birth, asking for help. The commotions of the attending her, and here I felt bold and energy rise up through me from the base chakra to the third eye and crotch to the eyeball. The birth, the crying of the newborn, all the focus or foos and joy. Here I am deeply relaxed and maybe starting to slip off to the sleep. And the child grows older still, develop and marries, and she's happy on the wedding day and looking forward to be a mother. I feel the music ends very with a very happy feeling. Raga of next prover was X. Raga of simple day living, ordinariness, walking barefoot on a dirty road in the country, carrying a basket of fruit in my hand, walking in the marketplace, doing chores of the daily living and planting garden, rocking baby in a cradle, mosquitoes and flies buzzing all around, and sunset was there, dancing in the village, cow wandering around. That was the scenario. Next prover was YB. He said, worry what to do with my dog for 4 weeks. Joyful of being in an independent position. Usually, I am very sad to be alone. Tightness in my neck. Hopeful. Usually, I am jaded and I am very jaded and hopeless. Nostalgic of the exotic land and new experience. Flavor, smell, and taste excited me. Next proverb was wistfulness, longing, gold, some brown, some green color paired with the image of a safe, calm, soothing place. A cool, dark blue mountainside, the peacefulness there. A mother soothing the child in a quiet, shaded room. A dancer, a female dancer, moving slowly in the long skirt of a translucent fabric with a blue flower on it, and the higher note seems celebrations, acknowledgement, achievement, perhaps some striving, a gold color, and the lower notes a safe haven, more grounded and not so demanding, simpler. My mind wandering a little to the image of the case we had just done and her appearance, and so some of my personal concern, legal advisory I have, image of blue water that I had been looking at peaceful at lunchtime. Next proverb is a sweet feeling of childhood, being in the classroom as a child, looking out of the window in spring, longing to be out of door, sadness associated with a mother, free feeling a kitten being tangled in some yarn as it plays, walking in the garden, a feeling of sweet mystery, a light feeling and calmness.